So I had a phone call from somebody who owns some big buildings asking me about the flag. And it was quite supportive. I haven't heard back from him recently, but I've been a bit busy. But something just came to me. We were talking about a couple of his tenants. One of them being the probation service and the other one being the job centre. I said, well, I don't think they'll like it. Now, it could have been referring to a flag with fly the flag through it. And so then I thought, well, we ought to say, what about a normal Union Jack, and not necessarily as big as like the ones that we're doing. But it struck me really that isn't that really a bad indictment of the state of the country? I don't blame the man, because ultimately he's got mortgages on buildings and stuff like that, so he doesn't want to lose the tenants. But the fact that he should even have to consider whether to put a normal Union Jack, not necessarily one like ours, a normal Union Jack on his own buildings, that because they house government agencies. Isn't that just a terrible indictment of the state of the country? So I think we should take this further anyway. There's multi-legs to this. How about we actually try and support businesses that openly display the Union Jack? Might just be in their logo, might be on their van, might be on the front of their buildings. I mean, it's ironic that Aldi, a German company, have a Union Jack printed on the window of all their stores. A big one, about 8 foot by about 4 foot from memory. Why don't Tesco's do that? What about Sainsbury's? What about any of these other companies? I mean, maybe this is something that we need to start calling these companies out for. I'm not saying that you're then not going to shop at Tesco's because that's convenient and you home delivery and we shop at Tesco's. But if you move just a proportion of your shopping to businesses that are clearly at least showing some outward signs of patriotism, that makes a big difference to these other businesses, and maybe it starts to send a signal. Another idea would be put it on letterheads. But what about every document that comes from a government agency? Shouldn't that maybe have a Union Jack in the corner? Not a great big thing, or a Union Jack watermark. Tell you one especially that I think that should be anything that goes to people who are on benefits. Wouldn't that be a good thing? People that are happy to be here but don't want to work, maybe not originally from here, or like the lady said, feels shocked by it. Maybe they wouldn't be shocked by it if they're seeing the Union Jack that often because it's on their pay slip. It's like any government taxpayer employee, let's face it, there's no such thing as government employees, the taxpayer funded employees. Wouldn't that be a good thing? So we're seeing it everywhere. We're letting people know, hang on a minute, you've got a job paid for by the hard-working taxpayers of the UK. I certainly think that all government buildings or buildings that contain any government agency in part of it should certainly be having it on. A landlord should not be thinking is this allowed? That's just a terrible state for the country. So all letters, all checks that maybe went out from the government, or maybe when it gets paid directly, because you don't do checks anymore, maybe when it gets paid into their bank and it has a reference number, maybe it should say like Union Jack or GB, taxpayer funded. Just something to let people know who they actually work for, what country they work for, what taxpayers they work for. I'm going to be returning to this theme, I think.